Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Cam Sutton is coming back from an 8-game suspension, looking to earn his place on the team's standout defense. Cam Sutton doesn't feel the need to prove anything to anyone as he looks to restart his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. After serving an 8-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy, the 29-year-old defensive back returned to the team on Monday, his first full day back at work in 2 months. Sutton is focused on finding his role on a team that has been performing well without him. The Steelers, who are leading the AFC North with a 6-2 record, have done fine in Sutton's absence. Undrafted rookie Beanie Bishop has stepped up, recording 3 interceptions while filling in for Sutton. Although Sutton hasn't been completely away from the team during his suspension, he mentioned he attended some meetings. He now faces the challenge of jumping into an active team. Coach Mike Tomlin often uses the phrase "trying to hop on a moving train" to describe this situation. "I've been working and doing everything I need to do to stay ready," Sutton said. His suspension followed a tough period in his career and personal life. Sutton spent the first 6 seasons of his career with the Steelers, where he built a role known for his versatility. In 2023, he signed a $33 million deal with the Detroit Lions, but his time there was short-lived. He was released by Detroit in March after a warrant was issued for his arrest due to a domestic incident in Florida. The charges were later reduced from felony to misdemeanor battery, and Sutton entered a pretrial diversion program in April, which required him to complete a mental health evaluation. The Steelers took a chance on Sutton, signing him to a 1-year deal in June, fully aware that he still faced possible league discipline. Sutton worked at various positions during training camp before starting his suspension. Sutton is ready to do whatever the team needs on a defense that is ranked 2nd in the NFL in points allowed, 4th in takeaways, and 9th in yards. "I play football, man," he said. "I don't care what position it is. I could be on the offensive line, I really don't care." The Steelers are fairly set at cornerback, with Joey Porter Jr. showing signs of becoming a top player at the position in his 2nd season and Dante Jackson already with 3 interceptions. Sutton is expected to take on more of a nickel role, which is where he performed well during his first stint with the Steelers. However, Beanie Bishop, an undrafted rookie from West Virginia, has done well in Sutton's absence. "He's just really enjoying ball right now," Sutton said about Bishop. "Just taking every day one day at a time, and good things are happening for him." Linebacker Patrick Queen believes Sutton's return won't take away from Bishop's playing time, but instead will make the defense even stronger. "He's a physical guy, a guy who can cover," Queen said. Steelers stock watch, see Zach Frazier. The Steelers went out this offseason looking for their next great center, and Zach Frazier may be him. He played well, often very well, through the first 6 games of the season, logging every snap leading up to his ankle injury. Coming off the bye week, he returned to the practice field on Monday, according to reports. Frazier himself already said during the bye week that he was aiming to make his return against the Commanders. Of course, he still needs to get through the week before he can return, and setbacks are always possible. "We merely know that he was on the practice field, for now. We don't know how extensively he practiced or how he looked while doing it." The Steelers have gone with Ryan McCollum in Frazier's absence, and at a coincidental moment. Because of his injury, Frazier has not yet played with Russell Wilson, now the team's starting quarterback. But I don't anticipate as many center-quarterback exchange issues as he had with Justin Fields. That is the difference between a veteran and a young quarterback not fully comfortable playing under center. Even assuming that Ryan McCollum played sufficiently well, however, getting Zach Frazier back will have a huge impact on the Steelers' offensive line depth. Given the injuries they have dealt with going back to training camp, that is not an insignificant factor. Frazier will, of course, return to the starting lineup, but now the Steelers know they have a quality backup center. and they didn't have to find out whether Spencer Anderson could handle that. Steelers urged to reunite QB Russell Wilson with $61 million WR. Quarterback Russell Wilson has grabbed the starting job behind center for the Pittsburgh Steelers the past 2 games. With Wilson, the team posted 2 of its best offensive days of the season in Weeks 7 and 8. But the Steelers' offense could still use an additional pass catcher to take the unit to another level. Bleacher Report's NFL scouting department argued the team should consider adding a target Wilson is familiar with, Denver Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. If the Steelers are going to make a serious run in the playoffs, they are going to need a better number 2 option. Russell Wilson is playing well and George Pickens continues to impress, but the talent at the top of the AFC requires at least some firepower to keep up, wrote the Bleacher Report NFL staff. Calvin Austin III is emerging as a decent deep threat, and Van Jefferson is a reliable veteran. However, adding someone like Courtland Sutton would allow everyone to play a more natural role, take some of the pressure off Pickens and give Wilson more weapons to attack defenses. The Broncos have acknowledged receiving offers for Sutton this season, but haven't made it clear if they're willing to deal him at the right price. Wilson and Sutton were teammates with the Broncos from 2022 to 23. Playing 29 games together, the two connected for 12 touchdown passes. This season for Denver, Sutton has 36 receptions for 499 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. The Steelers entered the 2024 season with one of the weakest wide receiver rooms in the league. They attempted to trade for San Francisco 49ers wideout Brandon Ayuk before the regular season began, but Fox Sports' Jay Glazer reported the deal fell apart at the last moment. Pittsburgh's receivers didn't have much production in the first 6 games, with Justin Fields behind center. But it's improved the last 2 games, with the veteran quarterback taking over the starting role. Calvin Austin III caught a 29-yard touchdown in Week 8 and is averaging 18.4 yards per reception this season. Van Jefferson hauled in a score during Week 7. George Pickens leads the Steelers with 35 catches and 548 receiving yards during 2024. If the Steelers add Sutton to their roster, they could start him opposite Pickens on the outside. That will allow Austin and Jefferson to concentrate their snaps in the slot, where they probably fit best. Sutton has posted at least 700 receiving yards in all 6 of his previous NFL seasons but one. In the one campaign where he didn't, Sutton only played 1 game. Sutton registered career highs of 72 catches and 1,112 receiving yards while making the Pro Bowl in 2019. He had a career-best 10 touchdowns in 2023, which was Wilson's second season with the Broncos. Pundits have mentioned the Steelers as a landing spot for several different wideouts ahead of the NFL trade deadline. It's not clear if Pittsburgh is interested in any of them or which ones will be available on the market. Sportskeeda's Tony Pauline reported on October 29 that there's a 50-50 chance the Broncos move Sutton. What's interesting is the Broncos are a surprise AFC contender with a 5-4 start this season. Sutton leads the team in receiving yards. It would be odd to see the Broncos trade their top receiver, especially since the development of quarterback Bo Nix should be the organization's top priority. But if Sutton is available, the Steelers are an obvious fit because of their need at receiver and his previous connection with Wilson. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Courtland Sutton? Leave your opinion in the comments.